Thank you very much for visiting us and having let us have a chance to meet with you and ask a few questions and speak to you. As you mentioned earlier with the Thai media that UK tourist has been #1 tourist in Koh Samui for a long time. Would you share with us your opinion of why do tourists from UK like to travel to Koh Samui?
Well, because I think that generally Thailand has a very good reputation, very good image in the UK. People like Thailand, they get a warm welcome, it's good weather, it's beautiful scenery, the food is very nice, so they want to come back. And you'll find a lot of our tourists come back to Thailand each year. And we've seen over the last year, again, a slight increase of people coming. And Koh Samui is very popular because it's got a lot of those ingredients. Beautiful beaches, and the fact that the people here rely on tourism means they know the importance of giving a good service and a warm welcome.
Okay. We have been doing some research as well on the repeat the visit.
Yeah.
And there are sort of reducing number of people who repeat their visit to Koh Samui. Do you think, what do you think is the factor that people sort of changing the destination or visit come back here less?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the local market. What I do know is that in tourism, as in trade and as in investment, globalization means there's an increasingly global choice for people. So people in the UK can go to Thailand, they can go to Mexico, they can go to Spain, they can go virtually anywhere in the world you can find a tourism destination here. So it's a global competition. So if they feel that they can get a better deal or a warmer welcome or it's safer to go somewhere else, then perhaps they will. It may just be as well that they want to have a bit of variety. I said before, a lot of people still do come back here, and I think that's true. But we can never forget, in the UK, just as in Thailand, that we're competing against other countries, and we cannot take tourists for granted in the UK or in Thailand.
And this is like speaking for local people who would probably want to ask this question. What can we do to make them come back?
Well, I think one of the things is that you have to. One of the things that's most important for a tourism destination is to preserve your reputation in all senses. So people, when they come here, want to know they're going to feel safe. They want to know that they're going to be treated fairly. They want to know that there's going to be a warm welcome, that there's a good environment which is looked after, and that they're going to have fun. All those things I think are important. And so you've constantly got to be looking at what your selling proposition is. You know, why would people come to Koh Samui and not to, say, Phuket or to Cancun or to the south of Spain? All these things are important. So you've got to constantly be looking at how you can provide that customer service for people to come back. Just as we in the UK do as well. We want to get more and more tourists to the UK, and we're very happy that we've got more Thai tourists going to the UK than ever before. So if we can cooperate in this, and it's a joint venture between us and on the British side, because we want our tourists to be safe and have a good time, and between the local authorities here. And we've been talking with the Hoteliers Association about some of the issues that they face. So it's an area for cooperation between us all.
Okay. There are so many factors that causes challenges on tourism. In the way that they change their culture and the way that they just try to act upon the demand of tourists and just change their way of life and lose their attractiveness in themselves. I heard that there are organizations like Travel Foundation that's focusing on responsible tourism. Is there any way that we could emphasize more on that so the UK tourists can be the factor that inspire people here in Samui to go through that direction instead of like try to run after the globalization and be Western, just run after the demand and lose themselves in all those world.
Well, first of all, you've got a very varied demand here, and so if you can't run after any one type of demand because you've got tourists from China, from Russia, from Europe, from elsewhere in Asia. And so there is no one type of tourist. It's quite a varied market you've got here.
Yes.
So you've got to be sure of your own proposition, I think. And the other thing is to create a sustainable tourism, which is very important. I used to be ambassador in Vietnam, and we used to see more and more people coming each year, but there's a realization it's not just about the numbers. You've got to look at, are the tourists coming? What are they spending? Are they spending money? How long are they staying for? Are they coming back? You've got to look at it as in quite a sort of a business-like way to see that you're encouraging the high-value tourism. And part of that, and that's one of the things we've been talking about with the Hotels Association, for example, is looking after your environment, especially if you're an island. You know, what's your waste management system like? How are you looking after water? How are you looking at creating tourism propositions which will appeal to people who are interested in nature, who are interested in corporate social responsibility? We were hearing about some of that today. So it's not just about how many people you can get coming, but it's far more complicated than that. It sounds like you've been doing some studies, and I know the various tourism associations here have been doing studies to ensure that you've got that sustainable basis to carry on tourism as a livelihood for people here in the future.
I'm very pleased with your answer. All right. This is the last question that I can't, but just really have to ask this. Have you watched recently a documentary on UBC about Suvarnabhumi Airport?
I've heard about it, and my colleagues have watched. This is from the BBC. Yeah?
Yes.
Some of my colleagues have featured on it. I haven't seen it myself yet because don't get much time for TV these days. But
okay, all right. So we can't ask you much about that because you haven't watched it.
Yeah. You can ask one of my colleagues. They often go to Suvarnabhumi Airport to help out.
Okay. Because so for many Thais, we feel that part of the how the media present us. Some might think it's funny. Some might think it's very offensive how we are smiley and just present ourselves as like we want to have a Farang boyfriend, and that's why we are working here at Suvarnabhumi Airport. So I would just like to know, what is the reaction of that ambassador, for example, when you see the media were encouraging on presenting that aspect of Thai people?
First of all, I think you can't generalise about media as a whole. There's all sorts of media, just as there's all sorts of organisations in any walk of life. I think you've got to be clear about how you want to present your country and what it is you're talking about. I used to be a press spokesman in London. I know that one story the facts can be presented in many kind of different ways depending on what the person presenting them wants to try and show, or their own viewpoint. And I think all you can do is to try and portray the truth, portray what you want to do, and be positive in that. And sometimes if people are a little bit eccentric, well, that's seen as a good thing. You know, nobody likes to have a sameness, a boringness. And as I said before, the soft power of Thailand, people like coming to Thailand. They think it's very welcoming, people are very nice, they smile, and you shouldn't lose that. You shouldn't feel you have to change your country. You should keep what's good about it, and you shouldn't be afraid of the outside world. I think you're seen in a very positive manner by the outside world, Thai society. In the UK, we've got 400 years of relations which go across all kind of areas. We want to have more Thai tourists go to the UK. A lot of Thai people go and study in the UK. We want to see more of that. We'll keep sending our tourists here. We've got to talk on both sides about how we manage our relationship, how we ensure that those tourists are well looked after, and they'll keep on coming back. And if occasionally you get people who have one view or another, that's their right. But overall, I can tell you that Thailand has a very positive image in the UK.